Hey guys, JC Smith here. Parts are in. So we got some Muncie PTO set up for a Spicer transmission. This is the cable bracket assembly, PTO cable, indicator light with plate, and the cable actual ties and attachment, new cable, all the studs we need, extra bolts for the cover, the pressure switch for turning on the light, all my manuals, and here's my pump. This is supposed to be a little bigger than I need, but a little overkill is always good, I think, in most cases. So anyways, there's all our parts. Guess it's time to get my butt in gear and get it all on, so let's get at it. Okay, so all my studs are in, the mating surface is cleaned up very gently, and now I need to put the PTO in. I'm starting with the 10 thousandths gasket, because you have to set the backlash on this. So I'll start with 10 thousandths, see what that is, and go from there. So this is what happens when you order parts. Okay, PTO's disengaged. The truck is in gear. Now it's engaged. Can you see this in here? I can't get in there to point to it, but the spiral gear is right here in the transmission. On the PTO it's right here. And I went in with the PTO, or the transmission number model, and which side it was supposed to go on. Guess my options are to flip it upside down, have my pump facing forward, see what I mean? See a spiral gear there? Here's my spiral gear. There's no way in the world, even if I, like right there, I'm engaged. There I'm disengaged. As you can see, I'm not engaged to anything. So I turn the PTO upside down, and then the gears are in the right orientation. And now it's actually meshed into the spiral gear. The problem is, here's the output plate for the drives out here, not back here. So I either take it back and have them order the other one, or I just change out the output plate and that shaft, which I think that's what I'm going to do. I should be able to, it looks like there's multiple snap ring locations, so I should be able to take this apart and move the snap ring the other way. Hey guys, JC Smith here. Yeah, PTO troubles. I went to our PTO shops, like I did the update and ordered up a new PTO so we wouldn't have troubles. Lo and behold, we got the PTO, and of course it's not right. The PTO fits, of course, but has it has the correct gears to mesh with my transmission. They're just not in the right orientation, and there was two different orientations for this depending on whether you wanted it on a driver's side mount or a passenger side mount. And I wanted passenger side mount, and what I got was neither one of those. How do you mess this up? I mean, this happens so often. I mean, we deal with this constantly, you know. When all you do is hydraulics, how do you mess this up? So I end up having to go on the Muncie website, go through, find my transmission, find out left side, right side, and I printed out all the information. I figured out myself. I'm not a hydraulics guy. I looked through this. This is pretty cut and dry. It's either a 1 orientation or it's a 3. This company orders me a 2. So I call Muncie and I say, hey, listen, I talked, because I had called the place that ordered it for me, and they said, yeah, bring it back, we'll just take it apart and we'll change everything and put it to the orientation you need. So I called Muncie. Muncie says, well, yeah, well, as soon as you do that, it voids your warranty. So I called the place back and told them, hey, it voids our warranty. They said, oh, we do it all the time. Well, that's all great, fine, and dandy. Here's the problem. Let's say I let them do it and there is a problem. And then I have to make a warranty claim. The warranty claim doesn't go through the company that I bought it from. It goes through Muncie. Muncie says, yeah, they do send them out in kit form to authorized dealers. It just goes to the frustrations that you just get tired of. It's attention to details. I'm sure you guys share this frustration. How many times you go on the parts store to get something only to realize you get home and say you were getting parts for an S10 Blazer and they gave you parts for a K5 Blazer or something along those lines. And it just gets very frustrating, considering I drove an hour to this place to get this, not only once but the second time to pick it up, and then they want me to drive back while they take it apart. Well, listen, I can see how it comes together and how it goes apart. I talked with Muncie again, and they said, well, we send them out in kit form. They're not one of our authorized dealers, so you would have to take it to one of the authorized dealers to have it changed over, which is about 2.5 hours from me. This isn't Muncie's fault. This is a company I ordered it from. This is their mistake. I came in with truck make, model, VIN number, transmission, model number, and serial number. I was prepared, and it's still wrong. So here it is a day later. My truck project's at a standstill. So the company I ordered it from, I told them I just want them to order me the correct one, not rearranged. Not only that, what happens is, as soon as you change your orientation on there, the tag that's on there isn't accurate anymore. So several years down the road, when I go to take that PTO off that truck and use it on whatever else, I'm going to look at that tag, and I'm going to look up the specs, and I'm going to say, oh, okay, that's what it's supposed to be, and it doesn't work, and I'm going to forget all about this. What's happened? It's just aggravating. Very aggravating. We're making such good momentum on this, and we're stymied and stalled because of someone else's lack of attention to detail. So, there's my frustrations for the day. But it's early. I'm sure there'll be more. Alright guys, I'll bring you back when we're back to work. Okay, so I'm underneath the truck. This is the PTO that I ordered. That's the pump. I didn't look this part number up. The guys at the hydraulic shop did. I gave them the model number of my transmission. I gave them year, make, and model of the truck and which side I wanted to mount it to. I wanted to mount this to the passenger side. However, the exhaust is in the way, which wouldn't matter anyways because the gear configuration here is wrong. My options were to have a number 1 or a number 3 configuration, and that's designated by, I know this is upside down, but you see that C2? That 2 is a number 2 configuration, which isn't even an option from Muncie on this transmission. So now what I have to do is put it on the passenger side, which if I was going to use it on the driver's side, if I was going to use it on the passenger side like I wanted to, this configuration was still wrong. And it had the pump on the front, which hit the bell housing. So I have to take this back apart, and I have to switch all this around. Now, I really don't want the selector valve, the lever, on the bottom if I can help it. I'd rather it be up on top. Less likely to get damaged. So I have to take all this back off, take it apart, flip it around. Now when I flip it around, this will be correct, because right now it's not. This is the driven gear from the transmission, and even if you try and engage it, which there it's engaged, I'm driving the pump now, but transmission's in gear, it doesn't engage because the driven gear of the transmission's over on this side. Anyway, so I got to take this all back apart, change the configuration, and put it back in. So let's get at it. Well, here's my new PTO. As crappy as this is, here's what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to drive an hour and some change back to them so that they can change this around. I just wanted them to order me the correct one. Well, in order to do that, they wanted me to pay the shipping on this one, which they ordered wrong. I didn't come up with this part number, they did. Pay the shipping on this one, and then pay the shipping on the next one, which was bull. I just wasn't going to do it. So I figured if they can take it apart and change it, I can. Otherwise, I'd have to pay more and wait 4 days to get it. And rather than hold this project up, we're just going to take it apart and make it the way we want it. So, as you can see, it's empty now. So, let's get it back together. Okay, so in order to change this gear over to here and get my output over to here, you have to drive out this bearing and the one behind here. You have to drive that out. You can leave the gear on, but you can see it's got the slots here for where the gear goes. And there's a keyway in here, which is very difficult to see today. Anyway, so there is the output shaft. Now let me get the input shaft in, which is compiled of this gear, the driven gear, synchronizer, and a thrust watcher of sorts, and a hardened shaft. So let me get that in there. As easy as that. That took about a whole 10 seconds. I'll put the bearing caps back on, which are these. You can see this side out, makes it pretty simple. That's what keeps that pin. It's got a dimple right here. See that dimple? There's one on each side, so it keeps the shaft from doing this. And you can't get this in wrong, like twisted backwards, because this part of the lock ring is machined on here. So see, you have to put them two together so it will actually lock in place like that. So let me get it the rest of the way back together. We might be in business here. Alright, so there it is. Now I have the flange on here, the mounting flange for the pump. It's on here temporary. There are 16 different locations in here that you can turn this thing. So I'm going to set it on the truck like so, with the lever on the top, which is what I've been trying to get to. Alright, so I'll leave this off. You have to set the backlash on the gear and the transmission to this. I believe it's supposed to be between 6 and 12 thousandths, so I have to set that backlash, and then I'll adjust this, whatever is going to make it the best for the pump, because I want it to be away from the transmission enough that it's not touching, yet I don't want it close to anything else that'd be rubbing. So let me get this on the tranny, and then we'll set the pump on and see what it looks like. Another thing is, before we put this together, this will be one time you guys see me use never sees, because I will put it all through here so that the two dissimilar metals don't fuse together over the years. So let's get this on the tranny. I don't know if it's going to show up well, but you see this snap ring right here? I didn't have a pair of 90-degree snap ring pliers, outside snap ring pliers. I have inside, but I don't have outside. So I went to use these universal things from Napa that have all these different bits to go in, and you know, I like Napa and I like their parts, but I gotta tell you, these are not worth the fuel to go get them. This was horrible. They don't work well, the handles. You can see how far off the handles are. When you squeeze it, it tends to twist. If you guys are looking for snap ring pliers, these are the ones I like. Made by Nipex. You know, these things are, I've had these for, well actually, these ones I just got warranted because I had the last set for about, let me think here, my son's 24, so 25 years, and I finally broke the tip off of them, so I got them warranted, so they last well. So this is what I would use. These, I'll throw them in a box somewhere, but these will be the last resorts. Those are not something, I mean, it comes with all these neat little different angles and all that stuff, but man, what good is it if the tool itself doesn't work well? They're easy to change. The biggest thing that's a problem with this is they're locking. So no matter where you go, if it's an inside or outside, it locks. So as soon as it locks, you can't go back until you release the lock. So when you're squeezing something, you guys know as I do, sometimes you need to squeeze a little more, you need to squeeze a little less, twist it. You can't do it with these. So anyways, I don't recommend them at all. These I would all day long. Well, I'm going to call that a success. We are engaged into the transmission gear, and I have the right clearance here. Nothing over here in the way. Now I can use the top loader. My pump mounts good. Hard to see that, but I have enough room in here. Boy, is that tough to see. Anyways, I got enough room in here, clearance the transmission, and I can still use the rear, two rear ports. I don't have to use the top and bottom, which keeps my hoses straight, which I really like. That's going to work out pretty well. It's a shame that you know, the guys that do this every day couldn't get it right, and I had to figure it out. This kind of stinks, don't it? Anyways, this says a 2 or 4 bolt mount. You can do either or. Seeing as how I have my plate right here is adjustable, I only have 2 bolts in it right now, just till I knew that I had the pump mounted correctly. So now I have to take this off, take the pump back off, put all my studs on this side, and then I have to set the backlash here. Hey guys, JC Smith here. Well, today wasn't exactly a super productive day. I got the spring brake valve back on, and the line's hooked up, and my wiring's all sorted out and brought back here and cut the length. The PTO is finished. I don't have the fittings in it for the plumbing yet, but you can see it's down there mounted, and the cables are on and all ready to go. And I have the control cable mounted in the cab now, and the wiring for the PTO light is on, and I took out a bunch of crappy wiring that was in here. Oh, I still have to cut the air lines and reattach them. I got them all kind of coiled up right now, but that'll be next. I'll have to take them and clean them up real good before I push them into the quick disconnects. And then that tank's got to go. And okay, so right next to the seat is where I put the PTO cable control. And then right here, raise and dump. And so that should be pretty good. I got an armrest here I'm fiddling with, but yeah, that should be very easy to use. This had an extension on it which brought it like almost up to the shifter, but I took that off. It's protected by this, so it's not going to get bumped. And this is pretty convenient because I'll push the clutch in and I can still pull it up real easy. So now I reused the Chelsea PTO cable. The kit came with a new one, but I didn't want to use it. And my wife started cleaning the truck up, getting it, you know, a little less than grimy, but not a real super productive day. But so the drive shaft's dropped off, waiting on that. I have air lines to hook up. I'm gonna put the fittings in the back of the PTO, so they're ready to go, because I've got it figured out which way it turns, so I know which one is suction and which one is pressure. And what else? There's a whole bunch of stuff left to do, and I didn't get a lot of work done today because I had something I had to go help a friend with, so that took me a good part of the day. I really didn't get down here to do anything till about 3 o'clock, 3:15, something like that, so I didn't have a whole lot of time, but I did get the PTO sorted out, and if you saw earlier from that video, what a fiasco. So now I'm actually considering putting polished aluminum tanks on, so I'm going to go see if I can find some. I do, however, there's 2 of them right there. Yep, there's another one over there. I could put those aluminum tanks on, but I don't know. I only need 1 tank, and I've got 1 good steel tank, so. And that battery box needs changed out anyways, because it's bad. And that's just a real good location for a toolbox. And I don't know what this is going to measure in here, but that's probably, let's see. I can probably get a 48-inch toolbox in here if I really wanted. So, anyways, that's all we got for today. Short one, didn't get a lot done. Didn't get my plate cleaned up. This is from cutting the frame. It left metal deposits on that tar, and it actually burnt that tar paint off, and my wife kind of stopped a little short of paint here on both sides, but that's okay. We'll get her. I'd like to say it's going pretty good, but it's actually going very slow now. You know, they always go slow when they're going back together, but hopefully the next one will be, you know, everything's buttoned up and we're setting the bed on. That's what I'm hoping for. But I got a lot to do yet. I still want to get this plate, this hitch plate on here before we set the bed on. That way it's done. So, anyways, that's it for now. I'm going to leave you. If you guys like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave your comments down below, and we'll catch you on the next one.